Hey everyone, welcome to a mobile edition of the Cannabis Correction blog. There are some groundhogs invading this blog, but it's okay, they're on the ground, you don't have to see them. Anyway, while my computer is being taken by a virus, I am still going to continue on with these blogs because they are crucial. And especially now, after Obama's ruling to shut down all the medical marijuana dispensaries in California and stating that marijuana laws federally will become a lot more restrictive. For those of you who never had any situation with cannabis, never even dealt with cannabis in the medical system, or overall just think you don't care, stay tuned because you will find that you do. Now, before we even get into it, I just want to point out that here we have once more the federal government reaching its hands in to what the states have already proved to work for them, and it's telling them no. It's saying that we as your federal government, we as Big Brother, are able to shut down anything you start. Right. Now, is this Obama's last tantrum before he's out of office? Like, damn it all, if you don't vote for me, you're gonna lose your cannabis. Well, who cares? If you do, you're still gonna lose it, because I'm Obama. I don't get anything done. I'm backwards progress. I only preach hope. I only try and delude the people just like all the other politicians that have gone on before me, but I'm no different. You know, that's Obama there. And so, we're having these dispensaries shut down within 45 days, probably less by the time you're seeing this video. And unfortunately, there's really not much I can do other than making these videos and hopefully spur you guys on to action. Now, this is medical marijuana. I want to clarify that because in California, there are a lot of people who get licenses to go around the bullshit laws that we have, the fact that cannabis can't just be consumed naturally and normally in any situation, whether it's for nutrition, for medicine, or even just for, guess what, enjoyment. Is that such a concept? Apparently it is, because in order for the aspiring pothead to procure any of this plant, this was sort of a loophole, and the government damn well knew it, and they were trying, and I didn't expect them to take such a blunt measure, they were trying to counteract those people who would supersede the law, if you will, and obtain cannabis even if they didn't have a real medical issue. But I want you to forget about all those people that I mentioned that are just there to get their cannabis, like every American, every person, everyone who is born to this earth should have the right to consume cannabis. I tell you what, guys, there's something in our mind called a cannabinoid receptor site, which means that in our minds, biologically connected, we are tethered to this plant. Now we're going to get into greater detail about what that all means in other blogs, but the audience I want you to look at here are the people who have cancer, are the people who are dying of AIDS, people who are really struggling and desperately need cannabis for a cure. Obama is extinguishing all of that. He is saying to those people, I don't care anymore, you're going to have to suffer in silence. I couldn't care. You know, my tirade, my political tirade, it's not over yet. It's not over in 2012, no. It's over in 2011, where Obama puts his foot down. But that's what he's saying to these poor people who are suffering for most likely a reason that was governmentally caused. And the reason I say most likely is because about 95% of cancers that are out there are produced by some form of malnutrition. Now, malnutrition, you may think, who the hell in America is not nutrified, I was about to say, but who is hungry in America is really the better question. Well, surprisingly, it's not people who are hungry, but again, the lack of nutrition in the whole food system. It's a complex issue, and we're going to talk about the food separately. But so these cancers that most likely were government caused through pollution, not feeding the people the nutrition they require by subsidizing corn producers, all these cancers now have no cure. They have no relief, and What is this doing in turn? What is this call to action really calling for? It's calling for illicit dealers. I mentioned this before, that when you restrict something, it never stems the tide. All it does is force it underground where it will propagate further. And this is a large jump into the illicit boundaries that the federal government up until now had been, well, continuing on, had been trying to stop. They don't want illicit dealers to be turning a profit. They want the companies to be making profit. However, with cannabis being so versatile, being so easy to produce, anybody could make it, and it can produce a number of products that would put most chemical and big corporate companies out of business because they are a fear-mongering profit margin, which means that they push out all their other competition, so all you have is their synthetic substitutes. Now, what I propose, how we could possibly do something to change this, and for this I want you to not only favorite the video, but spread the link up there and the URL to everybody you can. Post this video on Twitter because people need to know. What you can do is similar to what Anonymous is doing, and start occupying dispensaries and start demanding your rights, damn it. I am tired of Americans rolling over saying, oh, that's fine, take a little bit more, oh, it's fine, it's not me I'm worried about, I'm not the one out there smoking the ganja. And you people I'll address now. To all those who think that cannabis smoking does not affect you, you'd be wrong, and you'd be looking at it with a pequeño picture. Consider this. A perfectly able-bodied and able-minded American who could be actually, I don't know, producing something for this country gets thrown into jail. What is the effect? Well, the effect is this. It drains from your taxes, because that's more money to pay for police officers. That's more money to pay for prison food for a person who had already been feeding himself. That's what it does. It takes more money out of your pocket and reallocates it in other areas that are unnecessary. America's becoming a prison colony. This military-industrial complex is very much, I've noticed, resembling the fall of Rome. That's right, people. I'm suggesting this could be the fall of America. And it's not the dispensaries that's the fall of America. It's the restriction of knowledge that is the fall of America. During Constantine's time, he looked to the Catholic cannabis at the time, cannabis-worshipping societies, and he saw something practical. He saw priests that he could use for political power. All they would have to do is suppress the knowledge of this mystical plant. And vamos, just like that, spiritual experiences were banned. If you ever were to have a religious experience again, it would have to be done through the priesthood, through the church, and of course, since during the time of the fall of Rome, they don't want you gaining any extra knowledge, they don't want you thinking for yourself, they would refute people from learning. In fact, they would sentence them sometimes to death. They would be looked at as gypsies, as witches, and they would be pegged onto crosses and killed. That is exactly what's happening now. Perhaps not as excruciatingly obvious as the fall of Rome was, but even then the people didn't realize it. They thought, oh, going to church, going to be read some stories out of a book that I myself never read, nothing wrong with that, right? Well, there's a lot wrong with that, but they didn't realize it at the time either. And that's why I need to tell you people, the only evil we have to face, no matter what monarchy is in control of the people, whether it's the American government, the Romans, it doesn't matter. The only evil is ignorance. The only evil is restriction of information. And that's why I think this is where the change comes in the internet, where people can, in little bits and bytes, share so much information so fast and have it spread like wildfire, the viral effect, as it's called online. That's where the difference is. There was no communication system between peoples, between villagers during these empires. But here we have a difference. Here's the change. And you could even see them trying to retaliate. It's very interesting. I found that Norton, the virus protection program suggested that there's malware to be found on the Anonymous group's site. So that's false. I've been there. I've caught no virus. Well, okay, I caught a virus, but it wasn't from that. Yeah, I know that sounds very sketchy, but trust me, it wasn't from that. I actually think it was from an HP update for planned obsolescence, but you know, no way to prove it. So the government's trying desperately to suppress what's going on Wall Street with these anonymous movements, the Occupy movements, and that's why I suggest we start another one in the dispensaries. We start out in California. There are so many people of culture out there and so many icons that could gather a large amount of people together in front of these dispensaries and start demanding rights. I hope that they hear this video. I hope that they think to come to action, and I hope they realize that more knowledge is being suppressed. And again, we're slipping into dark ages if we just are going to roll over and let this happen. The America as we know it is over. It's been over. It was never really here. It was more or less an ideal. The economic systems are crumbling, jobs can't be found, and the further cannabis suppression of information continues onward. The difference is, the internet exists now. You and I have great power just by our words, and from these words we will take action. I'm letting you know ahead of time, American government, you're falling, you're crumbling, and I just fall to pieces myself when I ever look at your political debates and even the mention of Anonymous comes about and you try to suggest it's a leftward movement, it's a this, it's a that, it's not what we want to do, but it's that. Yeah, we know you're trying to scapegoat more people, and additionally it's humorous that after over 3 weeks, President Obama's never even addressed the Occupy movement in Wall Street. 3 weeks! 3 weeks people have been sitting on the streets, getting arrested, standing up for what they believe for. And not a peep. Not a fucking peep. So if that isn't blatantly clear to you that this whole game that we're playing is about knowledge apprehension, not sure what else will convince you. But I'm DeoGenZ. This is my mobile edition of the Cannabis Correction blog. Please comment below. Please spread the video, favorite, like, tweet, whatever you can do to put it on all the social networks. We will start a movement, and hopefully we will be able to occupy the dispensaries. Just to rehash, we're preventing truly sick people from getting their medicine. We're creating more crime than causing any solutions by making more illicit dealers. And we are further heading down the dangerous rabbit hole of knowledge suppression. Don't let that information fully be suppressed. Do your part as a thinking individual. I'll see you next time.